Kevin, the make-believe friend you can really believe in. This is Sid Gibbons and this is his mom, and this is the reason they are looking so glum. Sid's dinner was up on the table before, but now it's an upside down tea on the floor. This isn't the first time that Sid's been in trouble. On Monday, his ball turned the bird bath to rubble. On Tuesday, his pens were left out to go dry. On Wednesday, his bedroom looked like a pigsty. Mum folded her arms as she spoke to the lad. Now, Sydney, remember the talk that we had? But Sid, he was hatching a plan in his head, and before she could finish, the little chap said, I didn't do it. I'm innocent, Sid. But if you'll just listen, I'll tell you who did. Kevin. Yes, that's right, Kevin. He did it. Why don't you just ask him? He will have to admit it. Mum was confused as she looked at the chair. That was quite plain to see there was no Kevin there. A satisfied Sid simply stood there and smiled. Well, what does he looks like? Said Mum to the child. He's ever so tall and he's ever so wide and ever so smiley, the little boy lied. Has only one tooth, is as strong as a gorilla, has lots of pink spots on a fur of vanilla. Whenever I'm down with that sad lonely feeling, he comes down to stay through the hatch in my ceiling. He's kind but he's clumsy, and that I'm afraid is why he's so blamed for the mess that's been made. Mum rolled her eyes, her cheeks went bright red. That's enough, Sydney. Now please go to bed and have a good think, because these fibs have to end. You must not blame your mess on a make-believe friend. Grumpily, Sid made his way up the stairs and put on his PJs, the one with the bears. He sat in the darkness, his mood not improving, when slowly the door to the hatch started moving. Suddenly, light flooded in through the chink, which Sid couldn't have sworn was vanilla and pink. Excited and nervous at the same time, he took a deep breath and he started to climb. When he got to the top, what a sight to behold! Just look at that sky, what a fine shade of gold! The tree trunks were purple, the leaves made of jelly, the flowers are huge and incredibly smelly. The clouds were all star-shaped, the rainbow was dotty, the ladybird stripy, the bumblebee spotty. The grass was a carpet of mint green and yellow, and who's this familiar sort of a fellow? Kevin, you're Kevin, said Sid with a squeal. I can't believe you are actually real. You are just like my drawing. No need to pretend. We will play every day. You can be my best friend. Kevin just smiled and took Sid by the hand, and they started to walk through the magical land. They passed lots of beasties that looked pretty silly, some hairy, some slimy, some leggy, some frilly. Sid smiled and said hi as each one came toward him, but oddly the strange featured creatures ignored him. Big red Little Blue, the one shaped like a kidney, they nodded to Kev, but they looked straight through Sydney. By the time they had rocked up at Kevin's front door, the facts of the matter were hard to ignore. Here is Kev's word, and I am sure you are seeing. That was Sydney, who was the imaginary being. Now I have to report with the slight note of dread that Sydney was hatching a plan in his head. A plan, oh, so cheeky, so tricksy, so clever. Invisible Sid is equal to bestest fun ever. Are you catching my drift? Do you see what I mean? You can't get told off if you can't be seen. So Sid scribbled on the walls, he scribbled on floors. He bounced on the beds and he swung from the doors. He hosed down the dog and he frightened the hens. He felt all the lids of a Kevin's new pens. And when it was tea time, Invisible Sid, well, look to your right and you see what he did. Just as Kev started to clean up the floor, in walked his dad through the wrecked kitchen floor. Slowly but surely his cheeks went bright red. That's enough, Kevin. Now please go to bed. It was then that Sid noticed as Kevin walked by a single blue tear welling up in his eye. Suddenly, Sydney didn't feel so clever. He actually felt like the least best friend ever. He went up the stairs full of sorrow and guilt to where he found Kevin tucked under his quilt. Kevin, Sid whispered, "Oh Kevin, stop crying. I haven't been really selfish. There is no denying. I'm terribly sorry. I've got you in trouble. I'm going to put right all my wrongs at the double." So Sid scrubbed all the walls and he scrubbed all the floors. He mended the bed and he fixed all the doors. He brushed down the dog and he settled the hens. He tidied away all of Kevin's new pens. And then he gave Kevin a card that he's made. "My drawing is never very good, I'm afraid, but I hope that you'll like it and find in your heart a way to be friends like we were at the start." Kevin just smiled and he gave Sid a cuddle, and there they both stood in a big teardrop puddle. Kevin showed Sid the way back to the hatch. They said their goodbyes as Sid unhooked the latch. But before he went down, a reformed Sydney Gibbons collected some flowers, tied them with ribbons. Back in his room, Sydney got himself dressed, then ran down the stairs, flowers clutched to his chest. He dashed through the house from one room to another. At last in the kitchen, our Sid found his mother. "Mum, I'm sorry for causing such trouble. I'm the one turned the bird bath to rubble. I messed up my room and I ruined my pens. I shouldn't blame it all on my innocent friends." Then Sydney gave her the beautiful posy, and Mum was so happy her cheeks went all rosy. Now this is Sid Gibbons and this is his mum, and there's on the slides our invisible chum. Sid learned his lesson and stopped blaming others. Kevin and him have been closer than brothers. I wonder if you have a make believe friend, an invisible pal upon whom you depend. If no one believes, you don't grumble or moan, because one thing is for certain, you are not on your own. And the make believe friend story finishes here. Hello friends, I hope you've read the book along with me, and the book is about make believe friend. Most of the children, they have make believe friends from the age group of 7 onwards up to let's say 11, and many a times parents, they do get worried whom do they keep talking to, and who is this make believe friend, and how do these make believe friends help these kids. So there is nothing to worry about. As we have read in the book, Kevin had a friend called Sid, and he would blame everything on Sid, that Sid does this and he does this and I don't do it. So children, they enjoy having a friend who is imaginary. This shows that they have a lot of imaginative powers. They are rich in vocabulary. They can talk about that friend, and they have this vision to empathize. They can put themselves in that person's shoe and imagine that how would that person behave in this particular situation. There is nothing wrong in having make-believe friends, as parents might relate it with mental health of children. No, it is all right to have make-believe friends. It rather helps them in many ways. First thing, it helps in language development. It means they have rich vocabulary, they are highly imaginative. Also, they don't feel lonely. Let's say both the parents are working and child loves to have a make-believe friend and talks to the friend and does everything, expresses all his heart out with this make-believe friend. Mostly you will see the girls, they like to imitate their teachers. They try to do this pretend play of being a teacher in leadership roles, where they have the power, the authority to do whatever they wish to say. There is no intrusion from anybody because it's their imaginative word, and they can talk whatever they wish to. They can discuss everything. They can play a game of their choice. They can have conversation around their own likes and dislikes. So this is a lot of good thing happening in their life, and they are happy because they have somebody always to talk to. Now parents might feel that where do we need to end it and how long it can carry on. Generally by the age of 11 or 12, this friend starts fading off. And where is the limit? Let's say the child always carries this friend along with her, and she sits and eats with her, she plays with her. But now if she says, now we are going out and this friend will also come along, there you can say, okay, your friend can stay at home. Politely we have to now, after that we have to see that it shouldn't exceed too much in the child's life. What is the second use of having a make-believe or pretend play is children become very empathetic. Now when they think about, let's say, a teacher's perspective or mother's perspective, when they act as a teacher, when they act as a mother, they understand like the teacher undergoes so much of, there is so much work she has to do throughout the day, keeping the class in a good behavior. She has to teach, she has to correct her notebooks. So you would see these little girls doing teacher's role, and they would enact it very well. So the child has this much imagination power that she can think of what does a teacher undergo throughout the day, or what does a mother undergo throughout the day. Similarly, if a boy, they generally like to copy superheroes. They like I saw my niece's son, I'm Avenger. They relate to that personality and they like to role model those. It is basically a very healthy way of keeping themselves, their mind busy, and vocabulary enhances, their social skills enhance, and there is nothing to do with the mental health issue over here. So let your kids enjoy with their make-believe friends. Also in this story, they have basically tried to highlight this issue that whatever wrong he does, he is blaming his friend for this. So taking onus of our own mistakes, taking responsibility of our own decisions is very important. Right from the beginning, self-regulation, you have to like right from morning till evening or night before sleeping, what all do? We make our bed ourselves? Do we take care of our clothes? We put our books on and toys in right place? So all this during this play thing or pretentious play or pretend play can be easily enacted and can be conveyed to the child that the onus of all the rights and wrongs has to be on us and not on somebody else. We can't say that I am all right and my friend is wrong. So this is a very, very important lesson, or we can say a takeaway from the book, that taking onus of your own mistakes, taking responsibility of your own decisions, self-regulation and respecting your friends is very important. I hope you like the book. Don't forget to read it along with me. Thank you. This is Indu Punj signing off.